Hi, this is Annica Törneryd. I'm very happy to be here today with my guest, Kelly Fidel, also known as the Dealmaker, founder of No Glass Ceiling. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you, Annika. How are you? It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm so happy we're doing this. We're just going to dive right in, and I'll shoot all my questions at you.
Awesome. I'm ready.
So, what do you love the most about being you, Kelly Fidel? What's the best thing with being you?
I've never had anybody ask me that. I would say that I never compromised on my values
Hmm.
and integrity. So, I'm really at a place in my life where I don't have regrets, big regrets. I mean, should I have eaten that extra ice cream or cookie? That kind of regret? Sure, but the big life regrets, none. So I think I've really had a blessed life in that I was raised solid
Hmm.
by a single mom, and
Yeah.
so it made a big difference. Made a really big difference. And I'm a football mom, so does life get any better than that? It's been great.
Yeah. Okay. Why is it so important to you to support female entrepreneurs? I mean, like you're successful and you're good at what you do. Wouldn't it be easier to work with men who don't have all those limiting beliefs and hesitations and the inner glass ceiling? Why women?
Uh, so the big myth is that it's only women that have this inner glass ceiling, right? And so like at No Glass Ceiling Women's Conference, I always say it's for women and cool men because 35% of the attendees are men, which
Hmm.
is, fantastic. But I have worked with men for more than 20 years, right? In fact, it's only been in about the last 18 months, maybe 2 years, that I've made the shift into, I don't want to say only women because I still do have a lot of male clients. I still work with the NFL and Super Bowl and professional athletes. But, you know, so limiting beliefs and glass ceilings uh, don't discriminate. They, there we go. It's an equal opportunity problem, right? So why am I now focused on women? And that is really a couple of things, right? When I was in corporate, I really saw a lot of women, more so than men, but I really saw a lot of women struggle to, whether it was climb the corporate ladder, ask for a raise, if they were in sales, ask for the business, and to just really own their value. And quite candidly, Annika, I could never understand it. It took me a long time because here I am working primarily with men, sitting, senior executives, sitting and competing in these boardrooms with the most powerful men in the world, and I would walk into the boardroom and take a seat at the table, while other women would sit behind me against the wall in the extra chair. And that never occurred to me, and I would ask these women, come and sit at the table, and they're like, no, no. And, you know, I remember an executive said to me one time, would you go get me some coffee? I said, no, but you can get your own coffee, and when you do, bring me a cup back. And so I was pretty sassy, and I still am to some extent, right? Um, and
Do you think
most
he
women,
gets you the coffee?
actually, yes, he did.
Yeah.
And it was little gutsy moves, being bold, fearless, unstoppable. I think that, earned that respect. But for women, here's the bottom line. What has happened over the course of time is that women were really the caregiver in the home. When you think back in, the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even some of the 80s, but really in about the 70s and 80s, like women started to say, oh, we're going to call our own shots, right? Burn the bra, ban the this and that. We come a long way, baby, the whole thing. Feminism, right? And that's not what I'm talking about. But it was really kind of the tipping point where women started to have their own career. And it was before then as well, but really that I remember, right? And what happened is nothing changed. In other words, the woman's role in the house was still to serve her family, whether it was a husband, kids, being a single mom raising kids, having friends, dating, significant other, whoever, and whatever that lifestyle is, and yet still work and still come home and still cook dinner and still do laundry and fill in the blank, right? Mm-hmm. And women, I feel, have lost their power over time, right? Because there's self-worth, which is something very different than power. And women look at money and power very differently than men. And power is actually a feminine energy. So, great book by David Hawkins, Power versus Force. And he actually talks about masculine versus feminine energy, and that power is a feminine energy, and that force is a masculine energy. And there's like whole, I mean, don't have time today, but it's a fabulous book. It's a big read. It's like 400 pages, but it's extraordinary. And so, that's obviously why our theme this year is Unleash Your Power. But I really believe that women need to step into their own power and call their own shots and create their own life by design. It doesn't have to be crazy working, on a business or with a company or whoever. Really create your own life with ease.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. What are your top 3 ingredients to your success?
Integrity first is my heart virtue. So everything that I do, I mean, of course, I'm human, right? So do I make mistakes? Yeah, absolutely. But really, my world revolves around being integrity is number 1 for me. The faith, whether that is God, spirit, higher power, universe, whoever. But that's important to me. And my family is really a tremendous support system, even my teen boys. And, my friends and my clients. I mean, I'm really, really particular who I let in my camp. And it's not from a foo-foo, I'm better. It is from a sacred place, right? Because my clients are amazing. And many of them become friends. And I think it's so important for me as a leader to protect the group, right? And to make sure that it's a right fit, not only for our group, but for someone that's coming in, to make sure that it's the right fit for them, so that they're going to get these, mad, crazy results, which are fantastic. But I would say, if I was going to cut all that aside, I would say integrity, faith, and do what you love, which I do.
Yeah. Okay. Would you say that you've had an easy way to success? Like for us, people starting out, sort of struggling, then you have the people you admire, thought leaders, and when you look at them, it's like they've always been successful because you never see their struggle. So would you say that you had an easy success, you had talent, you were at the right place at the right time, or are you rather the type of person who's very good at adapting and finding solutions to whatever challenge and then overcoming them?
Got it. So I took the road less traveled. The road was not easy, but I have a saying that I love, which is, being broke is hard, and running a successful business and being profitable is hard. Choose your hard, right? So it's fascinating because sometimes people say, oh, wow, you're successful, or it's an overnight success, or, it's easy for you because you're already there. But it wasn't always like that. In fact, probably against all odds, I should probably have, been dead or a drug addict or anything just because of life circumstances. I mean, raised by a single mom. I did not know we were poor. She's amazing. She worked 2 jobs. We did not have a lot of money. I mean, I don't tell this like this is like almost never, but I would go into the market and steal food for us. I was a thief. I was a shoplifter. And then I go to confession. But, it's like, I mean, I was a kid, right? And I saw my mom struggle, and I didn't want that.
See, you found a solution to overcome it.
this is a don't do that at home. Like, don't.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
subscribing to. But you know, I'm 11 years old or something, and so you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
One time I did steal a piece of candy, and my mom found out and made me take the wrapper back and give it to the manager. And then I had to work. Like, he was like, "Oh, it's okay," and my mom's like, "It is not okay. She's going to sweep like the whole floor with a toothbrush," which really was like a broom. I mean, so she put me to work, and that's probably where the integrity comes from, right? But you know, raised by a single mom, didn't have any money for shoes, sold avocados from door to door to buy a pair of shoes. Girl got to have her shoes, right?
Yeah.
And then I just worked, right? Went to high school, went to college for 3 years, ejected from college, climbed the corporate ladder. It wasn't always easy. But I never really looked at it. I guess here's Annica what I would say. I look at it as there's always another person in another country or another place that has it worse. My grandmother used to say, "I cried because I had no shoes until I saw a man who had no feet." Mm-hmm. And so I just always hustled. I mean, it was fun to me. So not in a gaming way, but in a competitive way. It's like, all right, I need to do X. Let's see if we can do it. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And do I get afraid? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, I'm human, right? But you just learn to break through those barriers and understand fear and move forward.
Okay. What advice?
Lots of lessons. That's how I can help people shave off their learning curve so fast.
Yeah, good. Good lessons, what advice would you give to women entrepreneurs who are starting up their business? They have their product or their service, but they don't have a long list of waiting clients. So how will they find the ideal client, and how will they know that what they offer is something that the client wants to pay for? What's the fastest way to find your client or help them find you?
Gotcha. I love this question because women especially have this problem, and it really is a problem, where we have experience in other businesses. We've either been employed by somebody, we've done work, unless someone has been a career mom or a career housewife and they're literally just starting out. But we all know what we're good at, and we all know what we don't like to do. And so I see women all the time, and they have skill set, all right? And that's the key word, is the skill set. And what do they love to do? And yet all of a sudden, we as women come into a new venture, whatever it is, starting a business, doing whatever skill that you're going to take on, and we get amnesia, and we completely forget any of the experience, expertise, mastery, skills that we can bring to the table, and we have to start all over. Why we make it so difficult for ourselves, I still am figuring it out. But it is a common trend that women do. So that's the first piece, right, is to take a look at your business and say, what am I really good at? What do I really like to do? That's actually the most important, is what do you like to do? And then what do you want that service delivery to look like? Meaning, do you want to travel nationally or internationally, or do you not want to travel at all? Do you want to go out and speak, or no speaking gigs at all? Do you prefer to network? Do you want to have an online business? Do you want to have an offline business? Is it retail with product? Is it, so it's like, what is it that you actually want? And then pick one, right? Pick one, what I call profit channel, one thing that you want to start off with and do. I mean, McDonald's didn't open up 2 billion franchises, right? They started with one, they refined the model, the system, the process, then they went and grew and did another one. And entrepreneurs have the attention span of a flea. So they run out and they do all of this stuff, never really finishing one thing from start to finish, and that's where failure comes in. I'll give you just a quickie, and then I want to answer your question on ideal client. I certainly could have, my team launch something and document it for me and go through the process. But when I launched No Glass Ceiling last year, I painfully went through and did a lot of the tasks that really were, below my pay grade. And so what I mean by that is, we as entrepreneurs sometimes do tasks we shouldn't be doing. We should be outsourcing them because our time is better used for something else. But I chose to do that, and I wanted to do that, which was, I always do that when I start a profit channel, because then I can see exactly where the strengths in the businesses are, where the limitations are, and what needs to be refined. And it doesn't take me over 2 years to do it. Like, I know in a month what needs to happen, so we can scale quickly whenever we choose. But as far as your question on ideal clients and where do you go out and find those, so once you identify that ideal client, who it is, who you want to work with, where they're located, all right? And actually, let me back up. Before that, you have to know, who do you want to work with? Men, women, but more importantly, and there's, like this much on ideal clients. What's their behavior? Like, what's the core essence of the ideal client that you want to work with? So I'll give you an example. I love working with women and cool men, but right now primarily women that don't make excuses, that have desire, that want to call their own shots. It's okay. You don't have to be clear on your message or your product or your client or any of that, right? We can work through that together. But to really say, I'm going to do what it takes. I love my, business, but right now I have a love-hate relationship with it, and I need to fix it and correct it and get it, streamlined. So, for me, I look for two things when I'm looking at for clients, and that is that they have desire, that there's no drama, no whining, no gossip, no backbiting. I'm very careful about that, and the cool part is No Glass Ceiling is awesome because there's none of that there. Everybody comes to do business, right? I have to be able to see a 6 or 7 figure or 8 figure model in somebody's business, and then that they really are ready. It doesn't mean that they have to be ready with all the elements. It's that they're ready. They want to go and grow. So I would say when you're looking for ideal clients, like, who is that ideal client being? Like, who do you want to work with, right? It just doesn't mean you go find somebody, whoever is out there that fits this model or mode, and then people are like, I can't find clients. Well, you know what? Choose who that person actually looks and feels like, and then where do they hang out? So, are they hanging out at the country club, or are they hanging out at networking events, or are they in, leadership summits? Like, are they in, health and wellness and healing centers and retreats? So you just have to kind of identify truly, I mean, this is a super short version of this, but really identify, like, who it is you want to work with, and then where do they hang out. And at the identical time, Annica, I know it's a really long answer, but it's important. I always say, who is it that you're being, right? Because you can't say that you want a certain client style, the core essence of that client, and yet be someone else, right? So you just have to work on ourselves to grow into who we want to be to attract that ultimate client that we want.
I like that. Okay, so you work with high-profile business clients, executives, superstar athletes. Was there ever a time when you had just normal clients, or
high performance entrepreneurs?
Yeah, like, did you always have a certain executiveness in your clientele?
Well, all my clients are normal, right? So I have this domain name called Don't Get Labeled. And I really believe that people put labels and titles on people. To me, for me personally, the ultimate title is mom first, and then wife, and that's going to cause a whole bunch of hoopla with people. And I love my husband, and he's awesome, and best friends, and the whole 9 yards. But my children, until they're grown and out of the nest, like, they're number one. They need us, right? So did I always have those kind of clients? No, I've had some really, not good clients. I've had, but listen, I've had fabulous, and I don't only work with executives. I primarily work with entrepreneurs, and then completely separate business channels that I do still and love to work with corporate clients, because I teach how to get corporate clients separately, or executives and executive roundtables. I mean, I love it. And the reason I love it is that in the corporate arena, corporations are always looking for to do business and partner with small business and entrepreneurs. I mean, the MGM Grand was at my event last year, and they outsourced $78 million a year in goods and services to people just like you and I.
Yeah.
Graphic design, healers, construction, marketing, leadership training, I mean, you name it. So I like having that bridge of connection to introduce people. But yeah, early days, definitely executives. Today still, I do work with executives, leadership, strategic planning, things like that. But my heart is with the entrepreneur. It's with, the little guy, which, that's how people coin the entrepreneur, and yet entrepreneurs can make hundreds of millions of dollars. So, or they could be starting out and make less than 6 figure. It's not that so much. It just goes back to the ideal client. I love football. If ever I could do anything else, it would be football. So I can't play football because I'm obviously a woman and I'm too old and I get cracked. But if I could ever own a team, believe me, it would be a dream come true. But I love football. I would have season passes to my own team all the time. But all of my NFL stuff is all referral only. It always has been from as far back as I can remember. And really, it's about helping entrepreneurs. I know it looks sexy from the outside looking in, that there's executives and NFL and, I say high performance entrepreneurs because I believe every entrepreneur is high performance, or they would not have stepped into that role in the first place. They just need guidance, right? And that job's not always easy either, but it's certainly worth it.
Okay, in your opinion, what is the best thing, the greatest advantage with having a coach or a mentor?
I think it's critical. If someone is serious about their business versus curious, right? If you're curious, if it's a part-time business, if it's a hobby, if you're just kind of doing it for some pickup money, I think that's fantastic. I mean, that's what makes the world go round. But if someone is really serious about growing a 6-figure, multi-6, 7-figure or above business, it becomes a tipping point. It's critical to have someone who is experienced, who has the knowledge, who can shorten your learning curve and get you results, and be able to have I'm going to say the bandwidth to help you grow. So what does that mean? I mean, I see a lot of, I've had some amazing mentors in corporate. I was taken under the wing by some really fantastic people. I have definitely invested into, my own masterminds. I've been comped into 6-figure masterminds. And I have to tell you, the masterminds that were $100,000, $150,000 that I was comped into, I did not perform at my peak performance level as I did when I invested in, you know, a 30, a 50, or $100,000 mastermind because there's no skin in the game, right? But I think mentorship is critical. Today, my mentor is phenomenal. If you're at the event and you're going to be there, you'll meet him. He does $3 billion with a B, $3 billion a year. He's 34 years old. He has 24 companies in 7 countries. And he could be hanging out with us just like this. Like, he's super chill and great insights. And he understands my business. And so he's been, you know, phenomenal.
He said something.
What's that?
He said something in an interview with you that really touched me. He said that when he was at a low, when he was struggling, he said that, what am I worth? What's my value? And that his true value was not the debt he had, but the value of his dream, or what he can put into his work.
Yeah.
Really like that.
Yeah. And it's so true, right? I mean, we all have dreams, and then we replace them with stuff that we have to do. And that's why I say do what you love, right? It's everybody does have a dream and a goal. But going back to mentorship, I think it's really important because there's obviously a business plan, and then a marketing plan, systems, processes, scalability. Now, it doesn't have to be all intense, and that's the yucky stuff that nobody likes to do. But you have to have conversation about it a little bit so that you can drive the business forward. And it does speed up the profitability, the revenue, all these big fat words. The bottom line is, investing in yourself and your business, for anyone watching, will, or it should, I know in my world it does, but you know, I can't speak for everybody else. It will accelerate your profitability.
Yeah.
I call it let's go make some obscene adult money. Big money.
Okay. With all the success you have already had, if you dream really big now, what one deal would you love to add to your success, or what one thing would you like to achieve?
I would like to do I've done these kinds of deals in corporate and business, but I would like to personally do $100 million strategic alliance with no glass ceiling in the next 3 years.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
What's your greatest accomplishment so far, in your opinion?
Oh my goodness, there's a lot of them. I mean, besides my children and making family proud and things like that, I would have to immediately go to clients. I mean, I've had great personal success. And for me, that's simple, right? I've earned that right with myself, so I know how to, you know, do something and create profit. And it's not that it's super simple or super easy, but it's totally doable to me. I mean, I can set my sight on something, do it, and it's awesome, right? But for me, what I would say is most biggest successes is the volume of clients that have been able to come to me with, they're not at 6-figure and they want to get to 6-figure, and they wind up doing 6-figure in 3 or 4 months, or $500,000 their first year, and they get surprised. Make me cry. I mean, just like, or you know, someone that comes to me under 6-figure and they're going to hit $1 million their first year. So I don't want to say that money is the measuring tool, the measuring stick, right, of success. But I do love seeing the surprise on their face, because they do what they have to do, what they, you know, they stay to the plan. And so for me, it's exciting. It's like seeing a kid that just rode his bike for the first time or something like that. You know, it's a great feeling. But on the same token of that, it's that it doesn't create more work. So I've seen people shave off 30 hours a month. You know, I have clients today, like one of my clients, my God, she was working like from 7 in the morning to 9 at night. And now she's like doing 5-6 hour days and 10x'd her business. So there's a better way. I think that's what it is. It's like there's a better way, but if you don't know, You don't know.
Yeah, it must be pretty awesome to be the facilitator to help them find that better way and see them reach their goals.
Yeah, I mean, my only goal is that before I die, all this knowledge is out in the world, right? So, I mean, besides that, what else is there really? And leave a legacy.
I'm here to suck it up anyway. Okay, so from success to the F word, failure. What has been your biggest setback or challenge in your professional life?
Greatest setback or challenge. So I would say there was, I'm thinking about disappointments too, but I want to kind of set that one aside, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say there was two, and I say there's two because they happened one right on top of the other, which would normally take anybody out at the knees, right? So after my kids were born and I had built a couple of businesses, and then my husband and I built a business together in a completely unrelated industry, in the freight industry. And we had 25 trucks, semis, and I went out and got, surprise, big clients, Sony, Circuit City, Thompson, Consumer, and he ran all of the operations and staff and all of that cool stuff, and we had amazing contracts. But we grew really fast, and one of the trucks was not in the corporate name. It was in our personal name, and that was my fault. And we had what's called teletrack in these trucks, so big wall of cameras, screens. We're carrying millions of dollars of freight in one truck. And so, you know, the guys would use a code on their phone, talkie thingy, and we would be able to see on this big map where they are coming into the terminal. One of our trucks was hijacked at gunpoint at Christmas time.
Oh my God.
The driver was found alive 3 days later, hogtied in the middle of the street. I mean, horrible situation. Because it's freight and we operate under federal law in the United States, the DOT, the Department of Transportation, got involved, cargo cats, the FBI, like it was a very big deal. They never recovered the freight. They did recover the truck. And because the insurance company had to seek restitution, you know, they had to get repaid for these millions of dollars, they came after us personally and pierced the corporate veil. So we were forced to, after doing, you know, millions of dollars a year, we were forced to sell that company, literally, like fire sale it out, shut the doors, filed bankruptcy, multi-million-dollar bankruptcy, which took 3 years, and it was, you know, successful. It was just all, you know, there was nothing we could do. And about 60 days after that happened, I reached for my cell phone and hit a tree head-on doing 50. Had to walk, learn to walk again, talk again, like the whole 9 yards. So those were, you know, I mean, my whole body was shattered. It's full of metal, like I blink when I go through the airport, the whole 9 yards, right? So those are two significant, you know, obviously losing a business like that when you're got your blood, sweat, and tears into it is disappointing enough, but the way it happened, you know, it's not like we went out and bought 100 pairs of shoes and filed bankruptcy. Like it really took our family out. And then to, you know, go through the personal stuff, the personal trauma. Normally, that's enough. Our bankruptcy attorney said, if you guys survive this, your marriage won't. You have a 99% chance of divorce. Most families cannot take the stress and the pressure. And, you know, we've been happily married for 23 years, and, you know, that's been 10, 11 years ago. But, you know, it takes its toll. And most entrepreneurs would have a really hard time saying, I'm going to do this one more time. And, you know, we've done it a few times. So.
Yeah, well, I say, as the French say, they say chapeau, head off.
Yeah.
I was sitting here going, why didn't he just give up?
My mom never gave up. My mom, my dad, you know, they never gave up. I see, I mean, we have the beauty of YouTube, and you can, you know, watch any video of someone that's homeless or, you know, I mean, just people with no arms or legs, or it's like, how dare we give up? I mean, why? We're completely healthy. We're smart. We have all of our body parts, and even if we don't have our, I have friends that are missing limbs or whatever. I mean, they still, persist. It's like, how dare I? So.
I think you just answered my next question, which is, what's your best strategy to pick yourself up, let go, and move on after something rough? But appreciating what you have is very important.
Gratitude. Every day I start with gratitude. There's no question about it. And it's a choice. I mean, at the end of the day, every single moment, every decision we make, it's a choice, right? We make thousands of them all day long.
Yeah. Okay, what do you do when you feel tired, drained, when you feel that it's mostly uphill, you're giving, you're investing, but there's no real return of investment? Maybe you don't have that anymore, but...
No, I mean, listen, definitely. It's not. So here's the cool thing. Just because you achieve your level of success, whatever that is, by the way, once you achieve it, we always aspire to the next level because it's human nature. But if someone's goal is to make $100,000, let's just say, and you hit that goal, and you're like, if I could just make 100 grand, life would be perfect. No, it's not. If I could just hit $1 million, life would be perfect. No, it's not. Like, nothing really changes, right? Money makes things go faster. So if you're unhappy, or you're happy, you're going to be super unhappy or super happy. It's just, if you have a bad system in your business and you grow really fast, you're going to have a hurricane of a mess in your business. Yeah. So I don't know if that answered your question, but...
Yeah, well, so how do you recharge your batteries when you're feeling really low?
There are times when first of all, I don't work on Fridays, and I don't work the weekends. So I don't work on Fridays because I'm a football mom, and I really take that day to work on my own personal things, or a spa day, or spend time with my kids. But I'm always working just because I love it, right? But if there has been a particularly hectic day and there's a window of time, I literally walk out of my office. I'll go sit in my front yard by the fountain. I'll have some tea in the backyard. I'll take the dog for a walk. I mean, I will literally eject out of where I'm at. I mean, I work from my home. My team is virtual, and it's awesome. There would be no reason for me to ever have to or want to leave. I love it here. But there are moments where you just have to change the environment because I want to keep it very positive here. So if something's like going sideways, it's better that I just get out and think and chill out and decompress.
Chill, yeah. So what are the two most valuable things you have learned over the past years?
Over the past year?
Years.
Oh, years. Oh, gosh. Don't put your dream on hold. I mean, I waited far too long for no glass ceiling, more than 15, 20 years, right? Things are never as scary in reality as they are in your mind. So the mind will manufacture an incredible and horrific and scary or whatever story. And in reality, it was like, really? I got worked up over that for nothing, right? And how many of us have said that?
Yeah.
Think happy thoughts. It's not a thrill a minute in life, but being positive is so critical to our well-being, body, mind, and soul. So surround yourself with the right people and truly have the courage to release people that are negative or question you constantly, or because remember, when people are constantly questioning what you do, or asking questions is one thing, but if someone's questioning you about your work or your life or whatever, that is really there issue and their drama and their insecurity, and they're trying to process what you're doing. And
Yeah.
you don't need that.
Okay, if you could change something from the past 2 years, what would it be and why?
Years. I would have not stopped working out and eat cleaner so that I wouldn't be grinding so hard to lose 50 pounds by the event. But, you know, I took that time off, and I ate and I drank, and I was merry, and I traveled, and I just, you know.
Never stop working out.
Yeah, never stop working out. Like, just take care of everybody, right? It does get harder when you get older. So, you know, what else would I do? Gosh. You know, there's probably not a lot of times in the last couple of years, but over the years, there were times when I would work at night because I loved it so much, and I didn't always spend the time with my kids that I could have. And I know we don't need to spend every single day with them, but there were times that, you know, I would spend 2-3 nights in a week working in my office all day, all night. And so there are moments when you say, you know, did that really matter? Did it impact the business so much if I would have just spent the time?
I like that you say that, because I'm going to eliminate one phrase from my vocabulary, and it's "mommy has to work." Saying "mommy has to work."
Yeah. That's good, right? And I'm happy to hear it. I'll tell you when it hit me upside the head like a 2x4 is my oldest son was in elementary school, and they had to write down, you know, what does your mom and dad do? And the kids wrote it down. My son wrote down whatever, you know, my husband works, and he said, "Mommy works at the computer at night." And it destroyed me. I mean, that is like something that was like, holy crap. I mean, that is not what I want to be known for. So.
Yeah. So mommy does not work when kids ask for her anymore.
Yeah, and it comes, you know what, Annica, it comes from time management too, right? I mean, if something doesn't get done in that day or that night or that moment when we could spend time with our kids, does it really matter? Because even if we get that task done, guess what? There's more tasks tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and they never go away. And so how much of it can you eliminate? That's something I work with my clients today on, is how much of the chaos can you eliminate so that you truly have a life with ease that frees you up so you can spend time with family more.
Yeah. Okay, so imagine that we are 2 years into the future. So that's 2017.
Okay.
What new skill or achievement would you be very proud to present to us?
What new skill or achievement? Well, gosh, I don't know. To me, an achievement would come from testing a skill first so I could take it to market so other people could benefit. That's a great question. I would have to say a better way to close really large-scale businesses quicker. You know, a 6- or 7-figure deal, and that has to come from cultural awareness and acceptability. That everyone knows that you don't have to do these long dances before you close business. You either do business or you don't. Now,
but is there a faster way than saying, so are you ready to move forward?
Are you ready to move forward to a yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, but that aside, oh gosh. I mean, I'd love to see medical advancements be made without compromise, you know, this gets a little controversial, but, you know, no GMOs and things like that, right? I would really just like the world to continue to try and be a better place, truly try to collaborate more and You know, listen. It starts with one person, right? And then it's all about that ripple effect.
Okay, so before I ask you about the upcoming live event in October, I'm going to shoot 10 quick ones at you.
All right.
Answer with.
Let me get ready.
Yeah, I'm going to give you 2 options. You just answer with whatever defines you best.
Cool.
Ready?
Ready.
Go. Skirt or trousers?
Skirt.
Early morning or late night?
Late night.
Books or movies?
Movies.
And what's your favorite movie?
Oh, God. The Devil Wears Prada, The Blind Side. I mean, there's The Notebook. Really great.
Yeah. Ebook or paperback?
Paperback.
And what's the best book you ever read, apart from Power versus Force, David Hawkins?
I mean, and besides the
Someone
Bible.
that we can add to our library. Recommend a really good book.
I would have to say The Prophet, Prophet, by Kahil Gibran.
The Prophet, okay.
So Kahil is the first name.
Action or romance?
Oh, God, can I have both? Romance.
Romance, okay. Listen or talk?
Listen.
Does that mean you like to listen or you prefer to talk? Which
I love
do you
to
do
listen.
most?
Yeah, I love to listen.
Ski holidays or beach holidays?
One more time.
Ski holidays or beach holidays?
Beach.
Cook at home or eat out?
Eat out. I've cooked at home enough over the years.
Yeah. Okay, skydiving or shark diving?
Shark.
Shark?
I am terrified of heights.
Oh my God. Okay. And last one, ice cream.
Annica, I grew up with sharks my whole life in the boardroom. It can't be that
bad. Can't be that bad. Yeah. Okay. So last one is ice cream or protein shake?
Ice cream. That's why I'm in the gym right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that you have a live event coming up because I am going and I'm so much looking forward to it. But can you tell us, the listeners who do not know about it, about the No Glass Ceiling event?
Yeah, absolutely. So No Glass Ceiling is an annual event. It happens this October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th here in San Diego, California, in the U.S. And it's a global event. We have people coming from, all over. It's 3 days of, this is a no-pitch event, and it's also not a multi-speaker event, although there will be some key speakers. And so I'm bringing together some of my NFL clients, so for football, because they're champions of women, and they're going to share a couple of insights on, what they learn from women, and then how they go out and apply what they've learned, and why they don't know why we don't do the same thing. They learn from us, and yet they go out and apply what we teach them, and they're like, well, why don't women do that? So we're going to have a conversation, literally a fireside chat conversation that's totally engaging with the audience about that. I will be bringing in some corporate clients as well, and they'll be talking about why they want to do business with small and mid-sized businesses. And then, of course, my mentor will be there, and I will really be teaching everything from women and money, leadership and power, how to land high-ticket clients, what it really takes to build a 6 or a 7-figure business, and really helping you to craft out your plan so that when you leave, you can hit the ground running and start to really, take action. But what I really love to do is very soon we will be starting a 6-week series of weekly live group calls where I do training with open Q&A, because I really want attendees to kind of have that competitive advantage so that they can up-level and come to the event basically ready to do business at a totally different level.
I get so excited I have to speak. I'm sorry, I can't wait for it to start.
It's starting super soon, so watch your email. And the group is small. This is not 500 or 1,000 people in the room. This is 125 people. Mm-hmm. Because while there is a big stage and all of the lighting and the awesomeness, and we have breaks and lunches and cocktail receptions, and we do some really fun things, and it's an amazing experience. I come off of that stage. I'm in that audience with you. If someone says, yeah, I want to do a hot seat, I'd love to help people kind of move the dial. And there's a lot of masterminding and networking that takes place. These are all some really great people, that are doing awesome things in their business. And then we'll have some exhibitors too.
Okay, I can't. I'm so excited, and I'm really happy. It's in San Diego. I love San Diego.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, Kelly. I thank you so much for taking the time, for sharing all of your awesomeness and being so generous. It's been a pleasure, and I cannot wait to see you in San Diego in October.
Yes, and they can go to noglassceiling.com for more info.
www.noglassceiling.com. I will put a link to that.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you so much.
It's been fantastic. I love it. I can't wait to see you soon.
Have a wonderful day.
You too. I'll see you.
Bye. Bye-bye.